up to us what we wanna leave. Unite.
Hi, my name is Melanie Taylor, and I am a pop soul kind of dance artist, I guess you would categorize me as. I'm from San Diego originally, and now I live here in Los Angeles. The song that we're doing today is called Unite, and I had a reason to write it because I am doing this event called the Come Together Tour that I got to be a part of just last week. I performed it for the first time there, and it's about anti-bullying and coming together to be stronger in numbers kind of thing. So that was the vibe of, we already knew the concept for the song that I wanted to write for this event. But I had been wanting to write a song that was kind of had a message in it anyways, and so this was just a really good opportunity to write it. And so Christian brought in another artist that he's been working with, SR, who has that kind of a vibe. And so I think it's interesting, with songwriting, I think you have to sometimes know who to collaborate with too. It's not so much just oh, I'm so good at this. I think it's a really big strength to be able to take other people's that you know and their strengths and then bring that in for the right vibe that you want to portray. Well, he has some different ideas, yeah. In the claps?
In the beginning where there's that guitar riff, we're gonna put some
and it would be usually how I feel it's the easiest to do songs is to find the hook, the chorus first, and then go from there, because because the hook is the message of the song, and so I feel once you have that, then you can go back and sort of fill in the verse with what you have been trying to say with what the chorus is saying. It's not always like that, and I sometimes just have ideas for verses before I have an idea for a chorus, but a lot of times it's usually how it is. So we found just through throwing out different ideas, brainstorming what words we wanted to use in the song and stuff first, and then settled on that it was about coming together, but unite as just a really cool, I don't know, energy to it. And so and I knew that I wanted it to be a more anthemic kind of song too, so that was it narrowed it down a lot, and just found the chorus and then went back from there and was okay, well, what are we trying to really say, and then filled in the verses. For me as a songwriter, because I came from more of an acting musical theater background and then learned how to write songs basically through Christian, because he's been doing it for his whole life. And I remember something that he would always say is when we were writing, he would just be what is it that I really want to say right now? And I think a lot of times songwriters tend to, or if you're writing a song, you tend to just overthink it, or at least I do, I know that I do, and think about it needing to mean some crazy metaphoric message and da-da-da. And if that comes, then that's awesome. But a lot of times, especially for pop music, if you just say what you want to say and just make it as simple as possible, that actually can be the most powerful lyrics that you can end up having. So I think that's a big lesson that I had to learn, and but I have seen in songs, studying it, how often it is just a simple conversation basically that someone would be having, and so you don't have to think about it so hard. And the other thing is it's just so cliche, but it's so true, to just really trust your intuition, because a lot of times, I just, more than anything, love to collaborate. I don't really write songs by myself. And a lot of times, I won't even know what it is that I don't like or do like about it, but I'll just no, that's not it, and we'll just keep going until we find it. And so I would also say too, not to just settle on something that sounds good. You should really feel it, and that's a good indicator to know that you hit the right thing, because you're the one singing it after all.
My name is SR. I'm a pop rock guitar player, singer-songwriter. I come from New Haven, Connecticut. the greater New Haven area. I know Christian and Melanie from just being here and co-writing Unite. With songwriting and starting a song, basically, this question is always hard for me to answer. What's my first step? Because I don't really know what it is. Sometimes I'll be in the shower and I'll hear it. I'm constantly tapping, so I find a drum pattern that I like, and it inspires a melody, and all of a sudden I have a song. Or it's reversal. I find a few lyrics that kind of stand out to me as strong words, and then I make a hook melody out of that. I don't really have a very set strict path to writing a song, and I like to keep it that way because they all end up different. Sometimes I have different influences. A lot of different genres come into play because of that free movement of ideas. So basically, I take an idea and I just keep rolling with that idea until the next idea comes, and the next idea comes, and before you know it, you have a basic structure of a song. You sit down to produce it, and it writes itself after a certain point. The song writes itself. It's not you're basically giving the song what it needs. You're done with your own ideas, and the song is making up its own ideas, and it says, okay, right here you need this, right here you need this. You don't even have to. At some point, it's its own entity, and it's writing itself.
Do it.
When you're writing lyrics for a song, or when you're trying to develop the theme of a song or the concept of a song, it depends on what type of song. Again, the song is telling you that it wants to be. If it's supposed to be, a single, then yeah. If you want it to be a single, then if you even have that in your mind that's something you want to move towards, then yes, my suggestion is you take your hook, which in this case is Unite. And you just brainstorm. You brainstorm words. Sometimes you even look on the internet for synonyms of a certain word, and that really helps you get some ideas. Then once you get your a list of words that have to do with Unite, you base the rest of your content around the placement of those words. If you want to get that strategic about it. But yeah, that's for me. That's what I do when it comes to writing a concept song. Like if the concept is Unite, then yes, you need to find your key words and then build the middle material around those words. But if you're writing a soulful song, or a song that's it's very deep, and it's not supposed to be understood right away, and it's supposed to be a more it's a deeper thought process, which is neither of them are better than another. They're just for different purposes, and they convey different messages. For those types of songs, I choose not to do that. I choose to really just flow with syllables of words and just make them fit into a pattern. And when you feel it, then you feel it.
Tight with the last
definitely.
Boom, boom, cat. And then just that. Okay, yeah, I like that.
Super
better.
reverb, big room.
Yes.
boom, cat, boom, boom, cat.
Yeah.
Yes.
So if I were to give a few pieces of advice to someone who's starting songwriting or isn't really confident in their songwriting abilities yet, I would say the one thing that always trips me up is trying to accomplish something that's too specific, or try to model a song after somebody, which isn't always a bad idea, but it depends on, again, if it's your own artistry, or if someone's coming in and giving you an assignment, or if you're producing and you're selling music. It's all very different. But if you're doing your own stuff and you're trying to get into your own artistry and figure out who you are as an artist, it's really best to write as many songs as humanly possible, whether you think they're good or they're not good, and just get the dirt out. You're gonna. Just don't look at the radio, for example, and say, like, how can I get on the radio? What's the exact format I can write to get on the radio? Because that won't help you.
Ain't nobody else here but us. Love's the only thing we can trust. Only one who can
Once you establish basically your own style as an artist, and you feel like this is something that's, like my influences, but it's more me than anything, and someone comes in and gives you an assignment of I want a radio single, I want a top 40, and your job is to create that for them, then yeah, at that point, you're trying to do what your client wants. You're trying to pitch a song to a certain venue, and you kind of have to follow a certain format. But if it's not that case, and it's you basically, you're trying to just do your own thing and find out who you are, it's really important to know that it's not always essential to be okay. Like I want to sound like Chris Brown and then be exactly like Chris Brown, because by the time you're Chris Brown, the radio's already changed. The industry's already different. So you have to be like your influences and a step ahead of them in the direction that your mind and your creativity is telling you that the industry is headed. That's going to be your best chance of taking a shot in the dark and hitting something. That's going to be your absolute best chance, is to be true to you, but also be knowledgeable about what's going on. But be a step ahead. That was if I ever got any good advice, it was that you want to be somewhat of like what the industry is doing, but you want to be a step ahead of it, and no one knows what that is. So you want to feel it. Where's this headed? And that's why so many crossover artists are coming out right now, because they're trying to be more than just what the industry is telling them they need to be. They're trying to be multiple things at one time, which at one point it was a bad thing, and I think today it's more accepted. So if I could say anything, it would be try to be crossover. Try to just do stuff. Try to do whatever comes to mind. Just do it. And if it feels right, then do it, because there's nothing that you don't know that someone else knows. You just have to tap into it.
You're not the only one who feels this way. Whatever you're going through, it's okay. No, the world is not a scary place. Yeah, but we can't grow. Oh, thinking this way. It's up to you. It's up to me. It's up to us where we wanna leave. You know.